Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today we are going to be diving into a world that is changing really fast. Like robots are stepping out of factories and into like the spaces we live in every day.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how what was once science fiction is becoming like reality, right? Like we are seeing robots all over the place, like all these unexpected places, and they are changing the way we work and shop and even how we like experience entertainment.
It's pretty wild. We've got some sources today to help us like figure this whole robot revolution out.
Yeah.
Like one article goes into like the specifics of robots
Yeah.
and how they're being used in retail stores and restaurants, even hospitals and museums.
Wow.
Pretty crazy, right? And then another source is looking at like predictions for upcoming trends in technology, especially AI and robotics.
Oh, it's a lot to
I
cover.
know, right? So where do we even like begin with all of this?
Well, I think we can start with like the big picture. We're
Sure.
seeing a huge like influx of investment in robotics and drones. Like PitchBook data shows that in 2024, venture capital firms poured $12.8 billion into this sector.
Wow.
That's a big jump from like $11.6 billion in 2023. So it really shows you how much excitement there is around robots right now.
Yeah, those are some pretty impressive numbers for sure.
Yeah.
So what's like driving this sudden surge in robot investment?
Well, it's like a combination of things. But
Okay.
first, there have been some incredible advances in artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
particularly with
I see.
something called generative AI.
Generative AI.
This new type of AI lets robots handle much more complex tasks than ever before. Like, they're not just following programmed instructions. They're actually learning and adapting to new
Yep,
situations.
they're getting smarter.
Yeah, basically.
That's a little bit intimidating, but also really fascinating.
Yeah, definitely.
But why robots? Like, why now? What's the other piece of the puzzle?
Well, on top of the smarter robots, there's also a growing demand for automation across a ton of industries. Like, businesses are constantly looking for ways to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and sometimes even like address labor shortages. And robots are starting to look like pretty attractive solutions to those problems.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got smarter robots and businesses that are eager to use them.
Yep.
That's a recipe for some serious change.
Yeah, for sure.
Our first article really dives into the where of all of this.
Okay.
So tell me, like, what are some of the surprising places where robots are showing up? I'm ready to be amazed.
Oh, prepare to be amazed.
Okay.
So remember that robot picking shoes at a Soulbox store in Berlin?
Yeah.
It's actually happening. Like, customers choose the shoes they want and a robot fetches them. It's all about speed and efficiency.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I love browsing for shoes myself, but I can see how that would be super helpful,
Oh, yeah,
especially in a busy store.
for sure.
What else? Give me another one.
Okay, how about a hospital? At Houston Methodist Hospital, robots are working alongside human staff.
Wow.
They're taking on tasks like checking fire extinguishers, delivering towels, and even like assisting with patient care in some cases.
Robots in hospitals. That's pretty wild.
I know.
I mean, it makes sense they can probably handle a lot of those routine tasks and free up the human staff to focus on more complex issues or like sensitive issues.
Exactly. And then there's the food industry, which is like really embracing robots.
Really?
There's a restaurant in California where a robot is slicing vegetables and putting together hamburgers.
Whoa, a robot chef.
Uh,
That's both impressive and a little scary.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
I hope they programmed it to wash its hands.
Hopefully.
But seriously, that's incredible. It sounds like these robots are popping up everywhere, not just in industrial settings anymore.
Yeah, definitely.
Are they even like venturing into the world of art and entertainment?
Oh, absolutely. Like, think about places like the Sphere in Las Vegas,
Boy.
this incredible entertainment venue. And the Computer History Museum in California, they both have robots that are entertaining visitors, providing information, and basically acting as like interactive guides.
So robots are our new tour guides.
Yeah.
I have to admit, that's pretty cool. They probably know way more facts and figures than any human tour guide could ever remember. And they probably never get tired of answering the same questions over and over again.
Precisely, the key takeaway here is that robots are no longer confined to factories or labs. They're stepping into public spaces, becoming more integrated into our daily lives, and changing the way we interact with the world around us.
And this is just the beginning.
Oh, this is just beginning.
Right, it does feel like we are just at the tip of the iceberg here.
Totally.
But all of this robot integration, it's bound to have a huge impact on jobs and the workforce as a whole.
Absolutely. And that's a topic we need to explore more depth. So stay tuned, because in the next part of our deep dive, we will be tackling the big question: is AI a blessing or a burden for the workforce?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm already eager to hear what our next source has to say about that. All right, so we've seen these robots like popping up all over the place, from shoe stores to hospitals to museums.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, and it's like as these robots are becoming more sophisticated and like more integrated into our lives, it raises a pretty big question.
What's that?
What about the humans? Like what happens to jobs and the workforce in a world where robots are taking on more and more tasks?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one that, researchers are really grappling with right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Our second source actually dives into this very topic.
Okay.
It highlights some fascinating research that's focused on AI's impact on scientists in a materials science lab.
Scientists in a lab. That sounds really interesting. So what did the research reveal?
Well, the central question is, will AI lead to mass unemployment as robots and algorithms take over jobs that are traditionally done by humans? Or will it usher in a new era of increased productivity and new opportunities for workers?
Yeah, it seems like those are the two main narratives we hear about AI's impact on the workforce.
Right.
Either robots are going to steal our jobs, or they're going to make us all super efficient and create all these amazing new jobs we can't even imagine yet.
You've hit the nail on the head. And those two perspectives are actually reflected in the work of two MIT economists that are mentioned in the article,
Okay.
Daron Acemoglu and David Otters.
Okay, so tell me more about these two economists. What are their takes on AI and the future of work?
Okay, so Acemoglu is a little bit more cautious,
Okay.
even pessimistic.
Okay.
He's concerned that AI could worsen income inequality
Okay.
and won't necessarily lead to significant improvements in overall productivity. He worries that AI might just widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots.
That's a valid concern, for sure.
Yeah.
Technological advancements can sometimes exacerbate existing inequalities if we're not careful.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about Otter? Is he more optimistic about AI's potential?
Yeah, Otter is definitely on the more optimistic side of the spectrum. He believes that AI has the power to boost productivity, and with the right training programs in place, could even reduce income inequality.
Okay.
He sees AI as a tool that can empower workers and create new opportunities.
Okay, so we've got the pessimist and the optimist.
Right.
But where does the actual research land? What did the study of the scientists in the materials science lab actually find?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The article highlights the research of an MIT doctoral student named Aidan Toner Rogers.
Okay.
He studied scientists at a materials science lab who were using a new AI tool in their work.
I'm all ears. What did Toner Rogers discover?
His findings were pretty remarkable. The scientists who used the AI tool showed significant increases in productivity. They discovered 44% more new materials, they filed 39% more patents, and even created 17% more product prototypes.
Wow, those are some impressive numbers.
Yeah.
It sounds like the AI tool was a big success in terms of making the scientist more productive.
Yeah, totally.
But hold on, you said this research gets really interesting. Is there more to this story?
Yeah, you're right. There is a catch.
Okay.
While the overall productivity of the group went up, the benefits weren't distributed evenly.
Okay.
The most successful scientists, those who were already performing well,
Uh-huh.
saw the biggest gains from using the AI tool.
So the AI tool seemed to amplify existing differences in performance. That does raise concerns about income inequality, like Acemoglu was suggesting.
Exactly.
If AI tools mainly benefit those who are already at the top, it could widen the gap between the high performers and everyone else.
Exactly. And there's another twist to the story that I think you'll find intriguing.
Okay.
Remember, we're trying to understand how AI might impact job satisfaction and the overall well-being of workers.
Right. Because even if AI makes us more productive, it doesn't necessarily mean we'll be happier or more fulfilled in our work.
Exactly.
What did the research reveal about that?
Well, despite the productivity gains, a surprising 82% of the scientists reported feeling less satisfied with their jobs after using the AI tool.
Wow, 82%. That's a huge number. Why would so many of them be less satisfied if they were getting more work done?
The scientists reported feeling like the AI tool was taking away some of the most enjoyable aspects of their work,
Okay.
particularly the creative problem solving, the aha moments of discovery.
Yeah.
It seems they felt like the AI was doing the most interesting parts of their jobs, leaving them with the more routine or tedious tasks.
Oh, I see. It's almost like they felt de-skilled by the AI tool, even though it was making them more productive in a quantifiable way.
Exactly. And this raises some really important questions about the psychological impact of working alongside increasingly intelligent machines.
Yeah.
Will we reach a point where AI takes away so much of the challenging and rewarding aspects of work that humans are just left feeling unfulfilled?
That's a pretty profound question. It seems like we need to be thinking not just about AI's impact on productivity and economic output, but also on the meaning and purpose we derive from our work.
Yeah, for sure.
If AI is going to be a truly positive force, we need to figure out how to integrate it in a way that enhances human potential, not diminishes it.
I completely agree. And this research focusing on scientists in the lab, it provides some valuable insights that we can apply to other industries as well.
You're right, because AI is not just impacting scientists in labs, it's impacting all sorts of jobs, from manufacturing to transportation to healthcare and beyond.
Exactly. And that brings us to our next source, which takes a look at some predictions for future tech trends, specifically those related to AI and robotics.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what they have to say about where all this is headed.
Me too. Let's dive into those predictions and see what the future holds for us humans as robots and AI become even more integrated into our lives. Okay, so we've seen robots like moving into all sorts of spaces.
Yeah.
And we've talked about the potential impact of AI on jobs and the workforce. It feels like we're kind of standing on the edge of the technological revolution.
You're absolutely right. And our final source for this deep dive gives us a glimpse into what that revolution might look like. It highlights some predictions for upcoming tech trends, and some of them tie directly into what we've been discussing.
Okay, I'm ready for some predictions. Give me a peek into the future. Are we talking flying cars and robot butlers?
Well, maybe not flying cars just yet, but the article talks about something called AI agents that could change the way we interact with technology in a really big way. Imagine having a digital assistant that doesn't just respond to simple commands, but can actually learn your preferences, understand the context of your requests, and then perform complex tasks for you.
Hold on, so we were talking about something way more advanced than like the voice assistants we have now, like Siri or Alexa.
Exactly. These AI agents would be capable of things like booking your travel, managing your calendar, ordering your groceries, even interacting with different software programs to automate tasks and streamline your entire day. It's like having a personal assistant who lives inside your computer or phone.
Okay, that sounds incredibly helpful, but also a little bit scary. I mean, how much control would we be giving these AI agents? And what about, like, privacy concerns?
Those are definitely valid concerns. As AI becomes more powerful and more integrated into our lives, we need to be very thoughtful about how we design these systems, how we protect our privacy, and how we maintain control over our own data and decisions.
You're right, it's not just about the cool factor. It's about making sure that these advancements are used responsibly and ethically. But let's get back to those predictions. What else does the article highlight in terms of like future tech trends?
Well, it predicts that AI will supercharge our existing gadgets, making them even more intuitive and helpful. Think about smart home displays, Echo speakers, even smart glasses. These devices could become much more responsive, learning your routines, anticipating your needs, and maybe even making you that perfect cup of coffee before you even realize you want it.
Okay, now that's a future I can get behind. A robot barista sounds pretty amazing.
And I know, right?
But with all this talk of like AI and robots, it's easy to forget about some of the other technological forces at play. What about electric vehicles? Any predictions about where that market is headed?
There are definitely some interesting developments in the electric vehicle market, but the article points out that there could be some challenges on the horizon, like potential rollbacks of EV subsidies and tariffs on imported battery materials.
So does that mean electric vehicles could become more expensive?
Potentially, yes. It'll be interesting to see how these policy changes, if they happen, impact the adoption of electric vehicles.
It's pretty amazing to think about how quickly the world is changing, driven by these powerful technological forces. We've covered a lot in this deep dive, from robots moving into public spaces to the potential impact of AI on the workforce, and even predictions for future tech trends. It's a lot to process.
It is, and it's important to remember that we're not just passive observers in all of this. We have a role to play in shaping how these technologies are developed and how they're integrated into our lives.
You're right. It's not about being afraid of the future or trying to stop progress. It's about being informed, being engaged, and making sure that technology is used to create a better future for everyone.
Exactly. As we move forward, we need to keep asking the important questions. How do we ensure that AI benefits society as a whole? How do we prepare for the potential disruptions in the workforce? And how do we navigate the ethical challenges that arise as technology becomes more powerful?
Those are big questions, and there are no easy answers. But by having these conversations, by exploring different perspectives, and by staying informed about these rapid advancements, we can collectively shape a future where technology is a force for good.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder. As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, what skills and adaptations will be crucial for navigating this changing landscape. We encourage you to continue exploring these ideas and stay curious about the evolving role of robots and AI in our world. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.